and you can post and you can schedule. Like I can go on TweetDeck. We go on TweetDeck 8 o'clock this morning and schedule 12 posts for today. And so they're just ready to go out. Now, does that mean I don't engage? No, that's what my 10 minutes is for. My 10 minutes, I spend 30 minutes a day. I do 10 in the morning, 10 in the afternoon, and 10 towards the evening. Basically, real quick engagements. But I go through, hit some happy birthdays in the morning for people I know, because people love happy birthdays. So you do your happy birthdays. You check out your notifications. There's just, you know, some simple things you do to get that going fast. Talk to a few people, and then move on. And then mid-afternoon, you come back at it, do a little more talking, and then in the evening, do a little more talking. But as for my content posts, anything to do with my industry that's going on Twitter or my fan page, those are scheduled. Those are researched ahead of time, scheduled ahead of time. I do an 80-20 rule where most of the content is about my industry, but not from me. So I'm directing people 20% back to me because I've deserved it. I've given them a lot of good information on social media, so I should be able to promote for myself a little bit. It's the same idea for you guys. You know, you've given them great content, whether it's, you know, concrete or whatever it is you work in. Elmer's is a great one. I'll use Elmer's. Elmer's is a former client of mine. They did an excellent job. They did not want social media. Their IT guy did not want it. No way. Didn't want to open it up. It was a huge ordeal, like, to get him to do it. And then he finally did it. Opened up the whole IT for Elmer's, and it went great. They started, you know, they put 5 people on social media. They did a rotation of postings, and they would come on, and they were building slowly, and then they came up with a great idea. The cement truck.
Yes,
the
cement truck.
Their numbers just went up through the roof on Twitter and on Facebook, and their exposure and interaction just flew. And it was all because it wasn't about them. That's the whole idea. It wasn't about them. They were given away to a charity. So it was that, you know, third party. So if you can remember that when you're on social media, you just have to pretend you're live with somebody. If we're having a conversation and all I talked about is what I do, you're going to be bored with me and not want to talk to me anymore and move on to the next person. So that's what you're looking for from the internet, the same concept, just in a digital platform. So it's feels a little weird, you know, but it's the same. Pretend that person's sitting there. Don't tell them anything you wouldn't want them to tell them, or you wouldn't want anyone else to know. You know, do that in a private message. Don't put that out on a post. Another question?
So you're, let me see if I'm getting this right. You're kind of saying that the business page and the personal page go together. You have to have the personal
You have to have a
aspect.
personal page to open a business page. No one ever knows that you open that business page. They don't know who the administrator of that page ever is. Why I say they go together is because you can utilize your personal page to draw and invite people. And the more exposure you get on a personal page, typically the more it's going to be easier to convert over to that business page. So the idea is, let's take the Red Cross for example. You just have your Facebook page. So all of you have personal pages. If you all can build up more and more numbers on your personal pages, and they know that you work for the Red Cross, and then every so often you pull something over, or you post something like today when I did a post last night, because I was looking forward to speaking here. There's an @ symbol. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with this in Facebook. It's supposed to be changing, but it's still the same. You do a little @ symbol, no space, and then whoever you're friends with, or whoever you're fans of, or groups, the minute you start typing their name, they pop up. And then it creates a link to their page. So not only is it on my personal page, now I show up on the Red Cross's page too. And so anybody that stumbles across the Red Cross sees me. Example, teaching at NMC. Teaching a class at NMC. Say that. Get a response back. It was great. So, you know, we put the NMC and link back to NMC, get a response back saying, I didn't know you taught classes at NMC. They were on the NMC page. They would have never known about me except they were on the NMC page. And they were like, well, I want to take a class. So it's just so interesting how that works. It's all that linking back and forth. That's why you want 5,000 people and you want a whole bunch of fan pages and you want a whole bunch of groups, because then you can pull from them and give back and forth from a personal page. You can do it from a fan page as well too, but you get those links coming in, so you know, you gotta kind of manipulate it a little bit. You can block certain friends too. You don't have to, you know, everyone doesn't have to see the grandkids. And if they're from other countries and they make you nervous, you don't have to accept them either. You can always get rid of someone. It's easier to take them than it is to approve everyone. That takes forever. Just let them in, take a quick peek at them. If they look a little scary, look them out, research them a little bit, and then let them in, and then get rid of them. You have to.
I know on Facebook you can pay to do the ads to where you will pop us more often. Is that a successful program? Is that worthwhile?
Yeah, it works great for some people. It just matters, you know, what you're doing with your, what company you have and what you want to do. Those, the popping up ads are not inexpensive. Those are pretty costly ads.
Someone's on the right side.
When they pop up on the right-hand side and it's an ad, that's a pretty expensive. Some of them are expensive ads. Some of them are sponsored ads. Some you can pay for at Target. And those can, now they're more expensive. They used to be kind of cheap. They're cheaper than Google AdWords. So if anybody's Google AdWords, Facebook's a lot cheaper. And it targets. I mean, I can get down to the book you read, you know, places you eat, everything. Anything else?
I have a question about creating and sharing events. I'm the event coordinator here, and we post our events on our Facebook page. If we're being involved in the Swing Shift and the Stars, they have their own page and they create an event, and we have our page and we create an event. Is it better to just link with them, or is it better to create our own event and send it out to our followers, or is it better? I mean, or do it both ways?
It's kind of good to do, if you can do both. It's better to do both.
Okay. So they would get invitations from Swing Shift and they would get invitations from us as well.
Right. They would to it. But if Swing Shift is really on it and doing a really good job, then you could just keep directing them to that. You can do that, link to it, and just let them sign up right there. Just let them know you're affiliated with it, you know, that you're a sponsor or whatever it is that you're doing. When you do create an event, because I know you create an event with it, you always put a picture with it.
Okay.
Don't ever just leave it with that calendar on there. People will ignore it and ignore it and ignore it. You have to put a picture there. And the other thing about events, events show up on the right-hand side, but subscriptions to your fan pages, that's still a little bit of a tough issue, just so you guys know. If you create a business page, fan page, when you create that and you let people know you have it, it shows up in kind of a awkward spot in Facebook, and people don't realize sometimes that they've been invited to a fan page, so sometimes you have to kind of nudge them again, go on a couple weeks and invite again. Just so you guys know that you don't want to do it too much, but they get kind of buried, so people are like, what? I have an invitation, or, you know, something, I don't know what. The better way is when other people join it. So the idea is if you have a whole bunch of friends and all your friends go join your fan page, then everyone else sees it on their site, on their stream, and then they go do it. Because that's what people do. They follow other people. So the more people you can get following you, the more people will follow you because they're following someone else. That's how it works. So, anything else? Are we wrapping up?
So, how do you deal with, I mean, for instance, I have some posts on my Facebook where it seems like they go on for days. They're just people going back and forth. And they could consume a ton of time. How do you, I mean, I see your 10 minutes a day, but and you have to cut people off? Do you have to delete certain posts?
So are you talking about, like, let's say I put a post out and I ask a question and people start, like, answering it, and then I talk to them and then answer and talk? Are you talking about a stream like that going, or they're just talking back and forth?
Well, it could be a stream like that, or someone posts on your wall, you know, a 3-minute question. And then
Right. Well, one thing is I always encourage you that, like, unless you've given them permission for them not to post on your wall, you can remove that. So if you're on your profile page and somebody put a solicitation on your wall or anything like that, you can remove it. I typically, before I remove it, I go to my inbox and talk to that person and say, I'd appreciate it if you didn't do this, and if you do it again, you're going to be bye-bye. You know, so this isn't what I use my Facebook for. So you can remove that and take that off, or you don't want to get caught. So like right now I have notifications. Every time if I've talked about something, I'm going to get a notification that somebody's responded to what I talked about. So I'm going to see that. Now that's where you just have to like set your time aside and not go back and engage with it. That's the difficult part is, you know, you hear a little bing or you look at that and you're like, oh, what's that? Oh, ADD. That sounds better than this right now. You just have to do your time allotment. So if you decide you'll do 10 minutes in the morning, pick your 10 minutes, and that's what you do. I say if you want to play around on these, just do it at night. You know, just goof around at night on these sites if you want to. Recommendation 2 is not to, you can play games, but not to share them with your friends. There's a skip, always a skip. There's always a skip. You don't have to invite friends. That's just the trick for the application. Applications are phenomenal though, so if you do have a business and you start getting really into it, Facebook, all the mobile apps that can be created for them are really good. I'm sufficiently overwhelmed.
I have just the one other question. I think you've answered it in some of the other pieces, but I think one of the hard things with Red Cross, looking at Red Cross in particular, when we're trying to market, trying to fundraise, is trying to make it feel more personal. Because I think people see it as being something that's just out there, that, oh, the Red Cross, if I've got a problem, they'll be there. But how do you know, that engaging them a little bit more
Right.
to
Well,
feel
let's do
connected?
something for Dancing with the Stars. What's your role with Dancing with the Stars?
We are one of the charities for
Okay.
Swing Shift.
So you're, I'm sorry.
Yes,
That's
that's
Swing
okay. I do it
Shift.
all the time.
Yeah.
Or so you're with Swing Shift. I mean, you literally, I'm just brainstorming, but it's kind of like what Elmer's did. I mean, you could do some type of competition for the favorite dancer or get some engagement going on. So you're not just saying, hey, you know, we're helping this out and go check it out. More like, while that's happening, get conversation going or find something about that that would intrigue your people to get them paying attention to you through that. You can even go to their site and post, you know, you can post on their wall and bring them back to you, say, you know,
So maybe posting some on their wall with some kind of a little tidbit about our particular dancer. We've got a
Right.
particular dancer.
are you sponsoring a
and-
specific dancer?
Yes.
He's
yeah.
dancing for us.
For our,
just
he's
like
our,
us.
each
yeah.
charity has a dancer, so, but we aren't putting out maybe just some little tidbits about,
Yeah, even
did
fun
you know
facts about
that
them,
Brody
right.
O'Connell
Oh, Brody's yours?
likes
I
to,
love
likes to
Brody.
sail,
So
or
you can
likes
say,
to
even if you want to, if you want to dance with Brody.
Right,
Something like
I
that.
mean, if Brody's for something
he's
like
willing
that,
to do
right,
it,
if you
you know,
get
then-
something, but even tidbits, like did you, fun facts about Brody, that
Yeah.
might even be good, you know, little things people don't know, just anything that gets people paying attention to.
Personalizing it
Because,
more.
right, if you, I'm, you know, a fan of yours, and if it comes across and it's just kind of a, something that doesn't catch, but if it catches my eye like that, it's like, what, Brody, what? I would probably look at it, and it would make me go look at you guys a little bit more. So those kind of tricks.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Everybody,
Let's
let's
give her a
passing around the sign-up sheet for next month. Next month's speaker will be Stephen Wade, the Executive Director of United Way. And I don't have the topic, but we're trying to lean him towards 211. And that will be Thursday, October 23rd, same time, same place. Please sign up, please join us, and I hope to see you all next month. Thank you for coming, and thank you, Jody.
You're welcome. If you think of any questions after you leave here, you can always find me on Facebook or Twitter. So I don't carry a card. I'm so, I mean, just you can find me on the internet.